Think about the last time you bought a loaf of bread, brought it home, and left it on your kitchen counter. You probably made sandwiches with it within a course of a week, and every time you opened the bag, the bread was perfectly soft and completely mold-free. We take this for granted, but if you were to bake a loaf of bread from scratch right now and leave it out, it would likely start turning green and fuzzy in just a few days. What is the invisible shield protecting the food in our pantries from turning into a science experiment? It is the often misunderstood word of food preservatives. For years, the word preservatives has carried a bit of a negative reputation, frequently associated with ultra-processed junk food or scary-sounding chemicals. But is that reputation really fair? Or are these ingredients silently protecting us every single day? Welcome back to episode 4 of Beyond the Label. I'm your host, and I'm so glad you're tuning in. In our last episode, we unpacked the colorful science of artificial food dyes. Today, we're keeping that momentum going by tackling another widely debated category of food additives: preservatives. Whether you're a student packing snacks for a long day of classes, a parent stocking the fridge for a week, or simply someone who wants to understand exactly what is in your grocery cart, this episode is designed for you. Today, we're going to explore what preservatives actually are, why food companies and safety experts rely on them, and what current medical and scientific research tells us about their safety. Our goal here isn't to demonize the food industry or to scare you out of eating your favorite snacks. It's to cut through the marketing noise and internet rumors, replacing fear with evidence-based facts. By the end of this episode, you'll have the knowledge you need to read an ingredient label with total confidence. Let's get started. At the most basic level, preservatives are ingredients added to food to prevent it from spoiling. Food is organic matter, which means the moment it's harvested, baked, or processed, nature wants to break it down. Bacteria, mold, yeast, and oxidation all constantly threaten to degrade our food. When we hear the word preservative, we often picture a laboratory, but humans have actually been preserving food for thousands of years. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, or the USDA, traditional natural preservatives include things like salt, sugar, vinegar, and spices. Before refrigeration existed, our ancestors used salt to cure meats and vinegar to pickle vegetables, effectively creating environments where bacteria simply could not survive. Today, food companies still use those natural preservatives, but they also use artificial or synthetic preservatives. These are specific chemical compounds designed to target certain types of spoilage without heavily altering the taste or texture of the food. While a natural preservative like salt changes the entire flavor profile of a food, an artificial preservative can protect the food completely invisibly. You might be wondering, with modern refrigeration and fast shipping, why do we even need preservatives anymore? The answer comes down to two major factors: reducing food waste and preventing foodborne illnesses. First, let's talk about food waste. The journey from a farm or a factory to your local grocery store shelf and eventually to your kitchen pantry takes time. Without preservatives, foods containing fats and oils would quickly go rancid, and baked goods would rapidly grow mold. Preservatives extend shelf life, keeping food edible and safe for weeks or even months, which dramatically reduces the amount of food that ends up in landfills. The second, and arguably more important reason, is food safety. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or the CDC, roughly 1 in 6 Americans get sick from a foodborne illness every year. Bacteria like Salmonella and Listeria are serious health threats. Preservatives act like a critical line of defense. Food safety experts rely on these ingredients to stop dangerous pathogens from multiplying in our food before we eat it. When you flip a package over, preservatives often look like long, complicated chemical names. But once you learn to recognize a few common ones, they become much less intimidating. Here are 5 of the most common preservatives you'll find in the United States. The first one is sodium benzoate. This is heavily used in acidic foods. You'll find it in sodas, bottled lemon juice, pickles, and salad dressings. It is fantastic at stopping the growth of yeast and bacteria in acidic environments. The second one is potassium sorbate. This is a gentle but effective preservative that stops mold from growing. It is extremely common in cheese, yogurt, wine, and baked goods. The third one is calcium propionate. If you buy sliced sandwich bread or tortillas, you are almost guaranteed to see this on the label. It specifically targets and prevents mold and bacterial growth in baked goods without changing the taste of the bread. The fourth one is sodium nitrite. This one is typically found in cured and processed meats like hot dogs, bacon, deli meats, and pepperoni. It gives these meats their distinct pinkish color and flavor, but more importantly, it is highly effective at preventing deadly foodborne illnesses. The last one is sulfites. These are often used to preserve the color of foods and prevent them from turning brown. You will commonly see sulfites in dried fruits like bright orange dried apricots, as well as in wine and certain fruit juices. Now, the big question: are they safe? Let's look at what the current research says. For the vast majority of preservatives, the scientific consensus is clear. They are safe when consumed within regulatory limits. Preservatives have been studied extensively, and your body simply metabolizes and removes them without issue. However, there are a couple of preservatives that have sparked scientific debate and ongoing research. The first is sodium nitrite, the preservative used in processed meats. Research reviewed by the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health explains that when nitrates are cooked at very high heats, like frying bacon in a pan, they can form compounds called nitrosamines. Some nitrosamines are known cancerogens. Because of this, major health organizations, including the World Health Organization, recommended limiting your intake of processed and cured meats to protect your long-term health. Preservative is doing its job by stopping diseases, but the side effect on how it interacts with heat and meat proteins is a valid health consideration. The second one to watch is sulfites. According to the FDA, while sulfites are perfectly safe for the general population, a small percentage of people, specifically those with asthma, have severe sulfite sensitivities. For those individuals, consuming sulfites can trigger severe respiratory distress. This isn't because the preservative is toxic, but rather because it acts as an allergen for a specific group of people. Because public safety is on the line, food manufacturers cannot just invent a new chemical and throw it into your cereal. In the United States, preservatives are strictly regulated by the Food and Drug Administration, or the FDA. Before a new preservative can be used, it must undergo a rigorous safety review. The FDA looks at how the chemical is made, how much will be used in the food, and what the long-term health impacts are. Many established preservatives fall under a category known as GRAS, which stands for Generally Recognized as Safe. Furthermore, the FDA establishes strict maximum usage limits. For example, sodium benzoate is perfectly safe in small amounts, but the FDA limits its use to 0.1% of a food by weight. This ensures that even if you eat multiple preserved foods throughout the day, your total exposure stays well below any level that could cause harm. If you want to be a savvier shopper, spotting preservatives on a label is really simple. The FDA requires that all ingredients, including preservatives, be listed on the back of the package in descending order by weight. Because preservatives are incredibly strong, very little is needed to keep food safe. Therefore, you will almost always find them at the very bottom of the ingredient list. Additionally, the FDA requires food companies to state the function of the preservative on the label. This transparency makes it much easier to understand exactly why the scientific ingredient was added to your food. That is a wrap on episode 4 of Beyond the Label. I hope you walk away from this episode feeling a little more empowered and a lot less anxious about the foods in your pantry. Remember, a long ingredient name doesn't automatically mean something is bad for you. Sometimes it's just a scientific name for keeping your bread soft and your family safe. If you found today's episode helpful, please take a second to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who loves a good grocery store deep dive. Thank you so much for listening to Beyond the Label. Stay curious, keep reading those labels, and I'll see you next time.